The session is going to be focusing on the answer writing for PSIR. Okay. We are going to discuss the nuances of answer writing and how you can bring objectivity in your preparation for pol science. क्योंकि वो it is becoming difficult for some people to handle the content. So much content is being given, and right now we are in mill only. We have lot of syllabus to cover abhi. So how we can handle the content? You're not audible. Hello, better? ठीक है ना? अच्छा, यहाँ लगाना. Hello, better? ठीक है, चलो. So this is the snippet of UPSC notification that what UPSC expects in the mains exam. So if you look at the last para, it says that the scope of the syllabus of optional subject is actually the kind of answer and the kind of knowledge that UPSC expects in optional should be higher than the graduation level but lower than the post-graduation level. So this is what notification says. But since it is a competitive exam, you don't have to qualify. If others are writing better answer than you, of course, they will outsmart you. So we have to keep in mind that the answer that we are writing, the information that we are gathering should be sufficient for a postgraduate level of, it should be there. Okay. So this should be at the back of our mind. Today we are going to discuss why answer writing. Do we need to do answer writing, or just reading the information will be sufficient? Okay. If yes, then how to learn answer writing? What problems will you face when you start answer writing? By the way, how many of you have started answer writing? All science mein? ठीक है. Are class notes enough? How to prepare short notes? When to start answer writing? And how to differentiate your answer from others? Okay. So why answer writing? So there's a case study. This case study will show you that what mains exam, what is the power of mains exam, and how answer writing can make difference in your preparation and how it can ensure your selection in the final list. So in 2014 exam, this is the cutoff list of 2014 exam. Who topped the 2014 exam? नहीं, हीरा टीना डा भी एक साल बाद. Ira single, ठीक है. So if you look at the chart, 889 was the final cutoff. If you are getting above 889 and you're from the general category, you will be selected in the exam. ठीक है. Now let us suppose interview कितने marks का होता है? ठीक है. कितना मिल जाता है? मतलब 150 से ऊपर. ठीक है. Let us assume कि 100 marks interview में आएंगे ही आएंगे. क्योंकि 100 से लाना इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट, उससे कम लाना. You'll have to work for it. उससे मतलब वो उसी केस में आ सकता है जब आप जाके वहां पे आजादी आजादी चिल्ला दे, कुछ भी करते हैं. सो लेट अस अज्यूम कि 100 मार्क्स तो आएंगे ही आएंगे. दैट मीन्स दैट एनीबडी हु इज गेटिंग अबव 789 इन मेंस इज श्योर शॉट सेलेक्टेड. ठीक है. नाउ दिस इज द लिस्ट ऑफ द पीपल who got 789 and above in the mains. That means 53 people ensured their selection just after the mains. That they will be getting at least 100 in interview. That means their selection was final on the day of the mains itself. Ira single got 920. ठीक है. इसका मतलब ये है यदि वो इंटरव्यू में एब्सेंट भी हो जाती, छोड़ दिया, मतलब the way we abstain ourselves from the UNSC discussions. So छोड़ भी देती, then also she would have been selected because she has 920 marks. Not only उनका selection हो जाता, rank भी 165 आती. ठीक है. So this is how mains can ensure that you are in the list. And mains, since it's all about answer writing, you have 9 papers, out of which 2 are qualifying, 7 is counted in the main tally. So if you are doing the answer writing, to a very large extent, you are ensuring your selection in the exam. Therefore, answer writing matters, and in fact, it is the only thing that matters. Because out of 225, 1750 is coming out of mains and it is 86.5% of the total marks. पिछले इस साल के टॉपर को कितना आया था? 1054. शुभम कुमार got 1054. That means with 50% of the total score you are getting rank 1. Though it shows that 86.5% marks is being decided by the mains, and mains is being decided by your answer writing skill. The person sitting that side, उसको नहीं पता है कितना आपने पढ़ा, आप IIT से आते हो, कहाँ से आते हो, nobody knows. Okay, he is only judging you on the type of answer that you are writing. Okay, and that also in that limited space and limited time. So the whole challenge is to write good answer in limited time and limited space. Other than that, why answer writing is required? Because many people are from non-pol science background and they have very direct way of writing answers, especially people from the engineering. Okay, 2 + 2 is 4, but here ऐसा नहीं होता है. यहाँ पे there are a lot of stories that needs to be built. Okay, so you need to develop that answer writing skill. Secondly is that in optional, not in GS, in optional, paper can be predicted to a larger degree. If you go to the previous year question, especially in paper 1 section A part, thinkers में है, वही question repeat होके आते हैं in some form or the other. So if you are preparing, let us say 10 question on Plato, उस पे आ जाएगा कहीं ना कहीं से, उसी पे question आएगा, नहीं भी आता है तो उसी में से लिख देना है, ठीक है. So you can predict, हाँ मतलब कहाँ से प्लेटो में और नया information कहाँ से generate करोगे. So you have to actually optimize the information that is being given in the class and you have to predict the question that can be asked. Lastly, एक habit भी develop करनी होती है. Writing 6 hours every day, means के दिन में. The moment you will get paper, you will start writing till the time it is snatched back from you. बीच में time नहीं मिलता है कुछ भी करने का. So 6 hours एक दिन में लिखना, it in itself becomes very difficult for many people. ठीक है ना, आप when you write answer, आप 3 घंटे लगातार नहीं बैठ पाओगे, ठीक है. Many people will they complete the paper of 3 hours in 5 hours भी लग जाते हैं. So certainly you don't have that comfort in the exam. So वो habit भी develop करना, it becomes a challenge. Now how to learn answer writing? If it is so important, how to learn answer writing? So there's a quote from Mao. Google पे तो Mao ही लिखा था. So there is no finer teacher of war than war. इसको extrapolate करो answer writing में. If you have to write good answer in the real time environment, वहाँ एग्जाम में, तो you will have to practice here. In 3 hours, 20 question, whatever number of questions is, you will have to write and finish. Otherwise, if you feel कि यहाँ नहीं हो पा रहा है, वहाँ जाके कर लेंगे, तो I think वो एक false consciousness है, उसको break करना पड़ेगा. You'll have to do it here, then also you can replicate the entire thing in the exam. Sure. So as I asked that how many people have already started answer writing. So there are 3 types of UPSC students who actually aspire for the exam. You know ostrich-like policy? So ostrich-like policy basically means that when ostrich sees a danger coming, so it buries its heads अंदर में, as if कुछ danger है ही नहीं, मतलब everything is fine, and it feels that everything will be okay. Okay? तो हमारे यहाँ जो candidates होते हैं, they also follow the same policy. First category is that they know they are in trouble, they are writing horrible answer, ऐसे answer जो कि वो खुद पढ़ के शर्म आ रहा है. They know they are in trouble, okay, but then also they will feel कि एक false comfort में कि on the day of the exam फोड़ देंगे, ठीक है. So वो पहली category होती है. Second category is happy ostrich. They know that उनके साथ problem है. They face the problem, they write the answer, get it evaluated, and over a certain period of time, वो improve हो जाती है, ठीक है. So these 2 people, they know about their drawbacks. जो सबसे third category है, so इन्हें ये पता भी नहीं होता है कि कितना बड़ा डेंजर आने वाला है. So they believe कि हम selected हैं, IAS है, एग्जाम वगैरह फॉर्मेलिटी है, some paper works that needs to be done, ठीक है ना. यू कैन बी इन द सेकेंड कैटेगरी इज द बेस्ट, फर्स्ट में हो जाओ, थर्ड में मत रहो. The kind of competition that you're having, you're going to compete with best minds. आधे लोग वो compete करेंगे जो ऑलरेडी सर्विस में हैं, इम्प्रूवमेंट के लिए दे रहे हैं एग्जाम, उन्होंने एक बार तोड़ दिया है इस एग्जाम को, ठीक है. सो डोंट अंडर एस्टिमेट द लेवल ऑफ कॉम्पिटिशन. ओके, और ये एक दो अटेम्प्ट के बाद पता चलता है कि नहीं ये प्रॉब्लम थी. सो डोंट अंडर एस्टिमेट इट. you'll have to take the gravity with seriousness, and the gravity is that you will have to take the challenge of answer writing today, tomorrow, एक अटेम्प्ट बाद, दो अटेम्प्ट बाद, जब करना, ठीक है. Now when you will start writing the answers, वो क्या प्रॉब्लम आती है, मतलब why people are so reluctant about writing answer. So first thing is that you will be writing horrible answer to start with. For example, I don't know if you can see. So ये कुछ beginners के आंसर हैं. So by seeing the structure of the answer itself, will you like to read the entire answer? कोई नहीं पढ़ना चाहेगा. क्लास में ऐसे लिखवाया गया, मैम ने लिखवाया, उन्होंने वैसे जाके वहां पे बना दिया. ओके, इट इज फॉर द इवैल्यूएटर टू अंडरस्टैंड. जो समझना है समझ लो, ठीक है. देन ये देखो, कंक्लूजन है कि दिस क्लियर कट इंडिविजुअल. क्लियर कट क्या होता है भाई? मतलब यू आर पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट, यू आर अ स्कॉलर इनटू द सब्जेक्ट, यू आर क्लेमिंग टू बी द स्कॉलर इन द सब्जेक्ट, एंड यू आर सेइंग दिस क्लियर कट इंडिविजुअलिज्म. तो इट्स सब. देन ये लास्ट इनका देखो, मैम ने लिखवाया है, इन्होंने लिखा अकॉर्डिंग टू प्लेटो फिलोसफी इज ट्रूथ इक्वल टू गॉड इज इक्वल टू विच इज रियल. एंड द प्रॉब्लम इन एथेंस वॉर इज नॉलेज. ठीक है, अब हाउ कैन यू इवन एक्सपेक्ट कि इसको मतलब इक्वल टू कौन यूज करता है इसमें, ठीक है. यहां से यू हैव टू रीच टिल दिस लेवल. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट हैंड राइटिंग. हैंड राइटिंग इंप्रूव नहीं किया जा सकता है बियॉन्ड अ पॉइंट, बट सी द लैंग्वेज. दिस इज इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ फेमिनिज्म by Navneet Mann. She was selected twice in the exam. She defines feminism as, according to Oxford Encyclopedia of International Politics, feminism is a praxis-oriented normative theory based on the ethical concern of exclusivity. अब ये वहां पे बैठ के उसने बनाया नहीं होगा, ये रट के जाते हैं. Nobody can frame such introduction there, okay? But पढ़ने वालों को भी समझ में आ गया होगा कि सामने वाला कुछ है, okay? And the first para itself made that impression. अब आगे तो he is under pressure ना, marks तो देने हैं. And such kind of definition nobody can prepare on the spot. So preparation happens when you are preparing at home. People say, even toppers also say कि analyze करना है question को, analytical skill develop करना है. 5 मिनट मिलते हैं 10 मार्कर के लिए, 9 मिनट्स मिलते हैं 15 मार्कर के लिए. What analysis you can do in 9 minutes? How, मतलब वो possible भी कहाँ है? So analysis happens home, analysis रटी जाती है, and then you go and write there. Okay. Otherwise if you start analyzing तो एक question पूरा 50 मार्क्स का छूट जाएगा, and एक बार छूट गया तो you are largely out of the race. ठीक है. So you see the क्या difference होता है, यहाँ से start करके कहाँ पहुँचना है. And this will take time. ठीक है, this will take time. Second problem is, which most of you are facing now, is handling the content. Plato कितने 20 पेजेस तो हुए होंगे प्लेटो में. 25 अभी तक कितने पेजेस हुए हैं? टिल आई थिंक वी हैव फिनिश्ड हॉब्स. एक कॉपी भर गई. अच्छा, बाप रे, ठीक है. अभी सी द सिलेबस, अभी जहां हैं हम. ओके, you have to cover the entire syllabus. By the time you cover the entire syllabus, 7 copies हो जाएंगी. Okay, you have to revise the entire thing. Now UPSC has started giving 5 days gap between the optional and the GS papers. Earlier there used to be only 1 day gap. You have to revise the entire syllabus at least twice a day before the exam. ठीक है, 7 copies not possible. वो है ही नहीं possible कि उसको revise किया सके. So handling the content is becoming difficult. इसमें जो first thing that you have to do is that you have to understand the limitation of your memory. Okay, you can only remember limited things. Okay, and you can remember limited things if they are written on, let us say, 2 or 3 page format. 25 पेजेस रिवाइज करना मुश्किल है, and it is very difficult to recall there. It's very difficult to recall there until unless you have short notes which is of 3 page, 2 page, 4 page maximum. ठीक है? Because see, maximum one question you are going to get on each topic. Okay, 20 marker आएगा, and on that topic you have to write a 300 word answer. That means if you have a content of 5 pages, or let us say even 6 pages, so question there's no chance कि वो question छूट जाएगा. A student prepared a content, digital content, word जो MS Word में 25 पेज का था, India US 25 पेज. Now how can you imagine that you will revise the India US of 25 pages before the exam? छूटेगा. So in order to become the perfectionist कि सारा कवर हो जाए, एक कोई वीजा इशू भी हुआ है वो भी मैं कवर कर लूँ नेगेटिव पॉइंट में, सो फिर लार्जली मोस्ट पार्ट ऑफ द सिलेबस छूट जाते हैं. एंड यू हैव टू रेप्लिकेट दिस इन ईच एंड एवरी टॉपिक ऑफ पॉल साइंस. There has to be a uniform approach to the entire part of the syllabus. So handling the content becomes very difficult. इसके लिए short notes बनाना must है, it's a must. Okay. How will you recognize the priority area? So you'll have to go through the previous year questions. उसमें पता चलेगा कि we read lot of things, but what is actually asked. For example, in the IGP section, you'll be taught about rise of Aam Aadmi Party, rise of BJP, decline of Congress and all. Okay. Which is necessary to understand the party politics in India. But if you look at the previous year question, not a single question has been asked by taking any party's name. Okay, of course Congress पे पूछा ही जाएगा because Indian National Congress in the history. But there's no question on BJP, there's no question of course on Aam Aadmi Party. But that is necessary to understand in the foundation class, उसको पढ़ना पड़ेगा. But when it actually comes to what is required for the exam, very limited thing is required. Okay, और वही पढ़ना है, उसी को एक बार समझ लिया पूरा. Once you have understood the concept, then don't carry the entire thing forward. काफी heavy हो जाएगा वो. You have to only carry that thing which you can reproduce in the exam. For example, Plato, all of you have read. Okay, so ma'am must have told about holism, historicism, and essentialism. Now this is a screenshot from the copy of one of our toppers, rank 15, Ria Dabi. Okay, so the question was Plato as the totalitarian thinker. So she has written, Popper has said that the ideas of holism, historicism and essentialism of totalitarian ideology are applicable to Plato. You don't have the scope of explaining holism, historicism, essentialism. Anybody not even knowing the meaning of these 3 words, if they use, the evaluator will know कि इसे पता है ना? So you have to contract the entire information into these jargons, और इन jargons को वहाँ पे use करना है. Now one problem जो अभी फेस करते हैं स्टूडेंट्स, that when you came here from those people who are not from pol science, you must be knowing about Plato, Aristotle, but जो नए thinkers हैं जिनके बारे में आपने पहली बार सुना होगा, Gramsci, Hannah Arendt, they are not very known. So earlier your information was zero on that, therefore there was no confusion. Okay, as you start reading and पहले 2 रिवीजन में there will be lot of confusions. You'll forget कि TH Green पॉजिटिव लिबरल था, आगे क्लासिक लिबरल था, कार्ल पॉपर की बुक का नाम क्या था, what was the main argument. There were a lot of confusions. But after certain level of revision, let us say I think 4 or 5 revision, things start settling in the mind. So if you're having problem in recalling things, if you're confusing author's name with the book name, you're confusing with the tradition of ideology and the author and the thinker and the scholar, it's basically because things are at a very preliminary level, they are not revised properly. Once revision starts happening, वो चीजें settle हो जाएंगी and you will be able to recall that when you are writing answer. And for that, short notes is a must. Now, how to make short notes? किसी ने short note बनाना start किया क्या अभी तक? नहीं, आपने start किया. ठीक है. Now, एक problem what happens is making short notes is that you end up reproducing the entire thing in the short notes. तो 25 पेज का शॉर्ट नोट्स 15 पेज में बन जाता है, सो वो फायदा नहीं है. सो बेसिकली what should be kept at the back of your mind when you're making short notes? First thing is, go to the topper's answer. You will know that what we are actually able to write there. वही note करना है. Then prepare a universal introduction and conclusion for each topic. Thinker का section है तो his concern can be the universal introduction. Every thinker का कुछ प्लेटो का concern था, ग्रीस वाला, Athens why is not an ideal state. ग्रामसी का अलग कंसर्न था, मार्क्स का कंसर्न था, एक्सप्लॉयटेशन ऑफ द वर्कर. सो यू कैन प्रिपेयर यूनिवर्सल इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ ईच थिंकर based on his concern. Similarly, if it is a question on IGP, so constitutional provision, या फिर उसका definition can be the universal introduction. If it is a question from IR part, then it can be a quote from any scholar. Prime Minister का quote हुआ या फिर any scholar's quote can be the introduction. Similarly, you have to prepare the या फिर कोई judgment का कोई ऐसा line है जो कि judgment में use हुआ है. So what I want to say is कि prepare universal introduction and conclusion beforehand, which should be there in the short notes. Skip language. Just keep the terminologies in the short notes. You have to use language even in the exam paper just to stick the terminologies. Because language के कोई marks नहीं मिलते. Marks is awarded only if terms are written, you have underlined it. But otherwise, anybody can talk. Anybody knows that Marx, socialist was, anybody knows that Gandhi talked about modern hierarchy and all. But how do you substantiate it? For that, you need information. And you need to add that in the notes and you need to underline it. Information should be there in the notes which you can use as per your context. For example, in Pakistan, Article 51 and Article 59 of their constitution, it talks about reservation of women in their national assemblies. Okay, and they have their act which actually makes it necessary for each party to nominate at least 5% of their candidates who are women. Okay, so this is the information that there is a reservation of women in Pakistan National Assembly. How can you use it? Suppose there's a question on reservation of women in India's parliament. Is you can say that in spite of being underdeveloped and an orthodox society, Pakistan is having this provision. This way you can use, or you can use this information that in spite of giving the reservation for women, Pakistan is still an orthodox society. So information note karna hai, how you have to use that information, that the question will determine. Okay, so question aata hai ki what are the reasons behind decline of Indian parliament, India's legislature. Suppose another question is there that what are the indicators of the decline of India's parliament. Dono same ho sakte hain, that the legislative process is not happening fast, there's use of ordinance route, money bill route ka use ho raha hai, the committees are not being used. So information you have to write, how you have to use that information, that question is going to determine. Of course, you have to use jargons and note them. Scholars, book and their main argument. You have to learn the name, write the name of the scholar, name of the book, and what was the main argument. Similarly, the same thing can be done for the judgments also. अब एक judgment आता है, it has some 1000 pages, but every judgment is famous for one thing. Right to privacy के लिए पुट्टास्वामी famous है ना? SR Bommai is famous for the federal India, federal structure being the basic structure of the constitution. Similarly, Keswanand Bharati is famous for the basic structure. So just remember the name of the judgment and the main, what was the main crux of it. Okay. Constitutional provision must, whenever you are writing an IGP question, constitutional provision is a must. Scholars ko recognize karne. Now what will happen is that as you will move in the IGP section and in IR part, you will read a lot of contemporary scholars and it becomes very difficult to remember ki kis scholar ne kya kaha. ठीक है? In that case, what you can do is that you can recognize the shades of the scholars. For example, there are some people who write on the neighborhood always. Rakesh Sood keeps on writing on Afghanistan, Sri Lanka. Kanagmani Dixit writes, every time he writes on Nepal, he's an expert there. Similarly, ambassadors. Even if you're not knowing and you want to say something, you know that this person has been the ambassador of that country, you can utilize his name and write whatever you want to say. ठीक है? So that way we can do. Foreign secretaries, generally they are expert of every field. So you can utilize their name. Then there are people who are pro-government. For example, Harshvi Panwal, not pro-government actually, but thoda pro-government hi. Raja Mohan, Ambassador Sujan Archinoy, they keep on writing articles which are generally pro-government. So you can use their name. If you have to write anything which is against government, so JNU professors ka naam use kar sakte ho. है ना? You have Happy Mohan Jacob, Pratap Bhanu Neta, मतलब they will always be disappointed with what government is doing. So this is how you can, if you are not able to remember the exact thing, you can use the information there. If possible, use the digital notes. Okay, that would be helpful for you. For example, if I can show you a short note on Plato, just a minute. So ये लास्ट बैच को शॉर्ट नोट जो दिया था, इस entire Plato topic has come into 3 pages. Okay, universal introduction can be जो भी concern था Plato का, book and quote. You can, these are those quotes with which you can start your introduction. Similarly, these are also those quotes with which you can you can give the conclusion of Plato. Theory of idea में crux इतना ही है, not more than that. Rest is just language. Theory of soul है, his theory of communism. कंपैरिजन आ जाता है प्लेटो के कम्युनिज्म और मार्क्स की कम्युनिज्म में. प्लेटो एज फासिस्ट, who are people who criticize Karl Popper when Speer Toynbee seems old. His theory of education, and then एक universal conclusion प्लेटो पे कि see in any question you cannot criticize Plato and end the question. Okay, you'll always have to say that okay he gave these ideas, but his main concern was love for his motherland. So this is how a universal conclusion can be constructed on Plato. Now, are class notes enough? ये अभी भी आता है किसी को क्वेश्चन कि क्लास नोट्स enough लग रहे हैं अभी. Are you referring to books also? नहीं करना है उसमें. That day अनमोल शेर सिंह बेदी had come. उसको बताया गया ओपी गोबा, उसको पता भी नहीं ओपी गोबा कौन सी बुक है, and he got selected in the first attempt, rank 2. ठीक है ना. See, if you read books, you'll get some incremental benefit. There's no doubt about that. But problem है कि time नहीं है. ठीक है ना. You can buy book, but you cannot buy time. So best avoid करो. Be very selective if at all you have to refer. If suppose there is one topic which you don't understand, for that a very selective reading you can do. But referring to entire book is something which is not expected. Then why people don't write test? Because they believe कि एक दिन ऐसा आएगा कि जब सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा, सब कुछ प्रिपरेशन अच्छे से होगा and I'll write the test. वो दिन कभी आता नहीं है. Not एग्जाम के दिन भी ऐसा नहीं होगा. Only after selection people realize कि हमारी तैयारी अच्छी थी, and they come and they talk about things. But ऐसा होगा नहीं. So you can start writing अभी से. Then there are question कि PSIR syllabus is very dynamic. How to handle the current affairs? Okay. But this is a very big myth. If you look at the IR question, if you look at the question on Russia, so these are 5 questions from past years. None of the question is on the current affair. Question है areas of cooperation between India and Russia 2003 में. The most recent question was in 2021. Relation between India and Russia are rooted in history, mutual trust, mutually beneficial cooperation discussed. This is not a question of current affair. This is a thematic question. Here you have to talk about the evolution of the India-Russia relationship. Similarly, in 2017, the recent differences between India and Russia are the result of misconception than facts elucidate. अब IR में जो recent word होता है ना, वो at least 20 साल होता है, 20 years. It's not that कि पिछले 3 महीने में क्या हुआ. So questions are always on theme. एक 2014 में क्वेश्चन आया कि एनालाइज द ड्राइवर्स ऑफ इंडो रशियन रिलेशन इन द पोस्ट कोल्ड वॉर एरा. क्वेश्चन इज कमिंग इन 2014. कोल्ड वॉर एंडेड इन 1990 के आसपास. 24 साल के बाद ये क्वेश्चन आता है. कैन यू कॉल इट करंट? नहीं. सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी सेलेक्टिव व्हेन यू रीडिंग द न्यूज़पेपर्स आल्सो. रीडिंग न्यूज़पेपर्स इज फाइन, बट व्हाट एक्चुअली you should put in your notes is very limited. अभी यूक्रेन रशिया क्राइसिस हो रहा है. There will be, I don't think there will be a direct question on that. Maximum ऐसा हो सकता है कि they can ask about with the background of India's response at UNSC, how is it going to affect India-Russia relationship? So basically the same thing. You have to learn about the evolution of the bilateral relation, convergences, positive क्या है, negatives क्या है, and a conclusion. Every question will talk about the same thing. इसराइल पे भी वही एक ट्राइंगल बनता है, इसराइल पैलेस्टीन और इंडिया का. क्वेश्चंस विल ऑलवेज रिवॉल्व इन दैट ट्राइंगल. चाइना पे भी वही क्वेश्चंस है. सो लास्ट क्वेश्चन जो 2019 में आया था, व्हाट आर द करंट इश्यूज इन ब्रह्मपुत्र रिवर वाटर शेयरिंग बिटवीन इंडिया एंड चाइना. नाउ ब्रह्मपुत्र वाटर शेयरिंग जो डिस्प्यूट्स हैं गोइंग ऑन फॉर लास्ट 50 years. So all these questions are not current. So current वैसे नहीं पढ़ना है जैसे कि you have to update everything. Okay. Plus whatever updates are necessary, okay, they will be given through the test series model answers, and जो crash course के lectures मैम लेती हैं, they will be there. Okay. So when to start answer writing? My suggestion is that you can start from today. Basically, there are 3 steps for answer writing. You have to learn the concept, you have to revise it, and you have to write. Anyway, even if you're not writing the answer, पढ़ तो रहे हैं, you are revising it. The only thing is that you have to write the answer. Now, how to make my answer different for others? ये question आता है बहुत बार. कि people say कि everybody is reading Shubhra ma'am's notes, मेरा answer कैसे अलग होगा? First question is कि people there are not sitting for a different answer. Okay, it is their routine job. They are looking for an average or above average answer, and maximum people are not able to deliver that kind of answer because they try to make one answer perfect. So you don't have to worry for that. Just prepare the notes, short notes, and go and write. Attempt all the question. That should take care of everything. Okay.